Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Shorty, and we carry on our Best of 2022 countdown with What's the Furthest Place from Here? And yeah, this is an odd one because I'm trying to remember if I put this in as my honourable mentions last year. 'Cause the first issue dropped like very late in the year, and I remember really enjoying it, and I reviewed it very solidly and added it to my pull list, which I wasn't planning on doing. I literally just picked up the first issue and loved it. But I can't remember if it was either honourable mention or it didn't quite make it in because there wasn't enough of it to give a full accounting of it. A similar reason why I'm not going to put All Against All in, or why I was very much on the fence with Damn Them All. But there has been a good few issues of this now, and it's not been the quickest of releases for it, and still waiting for some of the vinyl to come with it, because I ordered like all of the vinyl for myself, my own personal collection. But those are small, little, insignificant glitches happening in the middle of what is a fantastic, well-rounded story. And it's a mystery story, first and foremost, and it's one that they have done a very, very good job of spoon-feeding me tiny little morsels of answers that make me want to keep coming back for more. It reminds me a little bit of the feeling I had in the first series of Lost, where there was always questions to be answered. But unlike Lost, this feels like we are eventually going to lead into answers, and the little morsels we get given are part of a big answer. They're not just there to keep us on the hook. It's not just chasing a $5 on a bit of a fishing line down a street kind of thing. We are getting something each time we get an issue. So what is going on in this comic book? Well, that is the fun bit, because we don't really know what exactly is going on. But there are things that we do know. We know there was an apocalyptic style event, and it, as a result of which there are no adults left. Although there may be some adults left, because there's the outsiders who provide food and take kids away when they get too old. But we don't know if they're actual adults. We don't know what killed the adults, or if they are dead, or maybe they're just gone. We don't know how the outsiders are still able to provide food and anything else that the children are going to need. We don't 100% know why they're all split up into tribes, or who creates the laws and how certain people are chosen to enforce them. But we do know that there are a lot of kids left in this world, and they are broken into various tribes, usually determined by the building that they live in to survive. Our story starts with a record store. I can't quite tell the name of the isn't it? But it's something records, and they all have their favourite song, even though, as far as I'm aware, they've never listened to a song. They have their favourite record, should I say. And it's a story that starts with seeing how they survive. And one of my favourite aspects very early on, when I was reading it, was, in terms of the story at least, was the idea that in usually post-apocalyptic stories we're dealing with adults, and there seems to be an awful lot of reasons why the adults won't get on. Usually it comes down to selfishness, like I deserve the things that we have left more than you and I will kill you to get them. And yes, there is some kind of old school bias still in play. Men are better, people of certain colour or skin are better, all that kind of thing. But I can't help but feel like in the long term, eventually we'd either just all kill each other, or we'd figure out that working together as whatever society I've left is definitely for the best, and getting out of that idea of that we need to be working all for our own survival instead of working for everyone else. I can't help but feel like Alan Moore had the right idea when it comes to this. So what they've done with this story is remove adults out of the equation and dealing with kids and pubescent teens. And it makes perfect sense to me that nothing will ever get fixed, because these are kids, and they are self-absorbed and selfish as you'd expect them to be. They have very little sense of the outside world or what doesn't matter to them, or they are pubescent teenagers who care about very little else but a couple of very minor but drastically important things. And it means they are just going to be as selfish and self-involved as all the people of this age range are expected to be. There are a few examples. There's always like this idea of old souls, children who have grown up to be more mature than they expect them to be, and that's fine. They generally get quite nicely frustrated. But it makes sense that this is an apocalyptic world which is never going to fix itself, because there's no firm hand on the tiller. And I don't mean that as like an authoritarian kind of way. I mean more, they're not going to ever agree that working together is the best thing. They've been told that they are in these tribes and these camps and they have to stay separate, and somebody is enforcing the laws, and we don't know why these laws are the way they are. It's all brilliant, because while all this is going on, we also have some fantastic characters, and they get to know each other, and we find out their relationships with each other. It's all very down to earth, and there we're going to talk about Tyler Boss, who does the artwork for this, because I'm a big fan of him. He is one of those guys, like the epitome for me of using minimal lines when I say like he doesn't over egg anything, but he also uses some absolutely amazingly rich colors. He has all the necessary detail that you need it to flesh out a scene, so you're never left wondering what's going on, or there's never just like totally random blind spots in there. And he also has so much fun with the form. He's a big fan of the 9-panel page, but he uses that like layout and that grid to open up different aspects of it, so you can have like just one panel in the top corner and the rest of it is all one together, but you can still see where those lines would be for a 9-panel page. He uses them really effectively for timing and storytelling, and it's just a delight. If you're a comic book fan, it's even better. I mean, I could probably give this to somebody who never read a comic book before, and they wouldn't be intimidated by the unusual layouts. It's all very easy to follow. But if you're a comic book fan, you can see how he's working within the medium to actually exemplify certain aspects of it. And there's also a rather wonderful moment in the first issue where somebody wakes up after a night out and somebody's drawn a wang on their face, but also one of those weird S's that kids, when I was at high school, used to put on their notebooks, and I've no idea where that's from. But it's really nice in a post-apocalyptic world. It's still there. The first arc of this is fantastic. It doesn't really answer many questions, but it builds up a lot of the questions that we know are going to get sorted out later on. And we've just started into the second arc where we're getting some history and some answers coming. Like I say, it doesn't leave you perpetually wondering what's going on. But if you are patient with it and you give it the time to build up its story, you're going to love every step on the way to it. It never feels like they're just treading water or keeping you on the hook. They are telling you the story at their own sweet pace, and it is a delight, an absolute delight to read. If you are lucky enough, go and grab it. I think the first trade has been out for a while now. You should have no problem finding it in a comic book store. But weirdly, I love the monthly release for it. I wish it was a little bit more regular, but I like the idea of like when you finish an issue, you then have to wait for a while to get it, because it's a reward then when you get that next tantalizing glimpse of what on earth is going on. Excellent work from beginning to end, and highly recommended. That's it from me for now. We're going to have we're going to be heading to top 5, so we're almost done now in the run up to Christmas Eve, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything, and until I see you again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.